Alec came out of Vaesen's office. The news of his redundancy was not totally unexpected, but it hadn't really sunk in. He looked all around the factory's admin office. Desks covered in modern technology, such as computers, were neatly laid out in the large room. Some men and women were working busily away on sales orders, accounts, distribution, and some watched the clock as the weekend was almost upon them. Alec looked around, but didn't really see what he was looking at. He didn't even hear the acknowledgements of his presence from various colleagues with whom he'd worked every day, or had, until now. He turned slowly towards the doors which led to the stairs, taking him down to reception. He didn't even remember walking down them and out of the building.
You've come to pay for your papers, have you, Major?
Major Harcourt approached the shop counter and pulled out his wallet.
There wasn't one delivered last Thursday, so if you wouldn't mind knocking that one off the bill, Mrs. Hicks.
Not one delivered? Oh, it's that wretched boy from Fieldview Close. That's the fourth or fifth complaint I've had in a fortnight.
Carrie checked the payment book and totalled up the Major's bill.
Are you and your good lady keeping well, Major?
Yes, indeed. Mustn't grumble. Well, it does no good.
No, that's quite true. Well, it comes to £8.64, please. That's minus Thursdays.
The Major passed her a £10 note from the wad in his hand, and Carrie gave him his change. Barry Dixon was in the village and popped in for a bar of chocolate and a can of fizzy pop.
Don't worry about that delivery, Major. I'll sort that paper boy out.
The trouble with youngsters today is they want the money, but they don't want to work for it.
Oh, that's true enough.
Excuse me, are you Major Harcourt?
I am. By whom am I being addressed?
Barry offered his hand, and the Major shook it. Barry Dixon, Hampton Gazette.
Oh, so you're the chap who was responsible for that wretched article on the village last week?
I wrote it, yes.
You didn't come to see me, did you?
I didn't have enough space in paper, so I didn't interview everybody, I'm sorry.
Absolute hogwash. I am master of the Foxvale Hunt. I'm a magistrate and I support this village enormously.
As I say, I'm sorry, and it's nothing personal.
Or did the anti-hunt folk get to you first? Is that the truth?
No, I don't know any anti-hunt folk, as you call them. I just wanted to explain my reasons for not including you in feature. But there's no reason why we couldn't redress the balance at another time.
I'll believe it when I see it. Good day, Mrs. Hicks.
With that rather abrupt end to the conversation, the Major strode off out of the shop, jumped into his Volvo, and sped off to the manor, his home. By heck, Mrs. Hicks, he's arrogant, isn't he?
Well, not everybody likes him, it's true. But he's done an awful lot for this village since he came. Wouldn't do you any harm to remember that, young man.
Carol replaced the receiver and walked back into the sitting room. Noel was watching the Saturday morning cartoons, but the sound was low on the television. Alec came back down from the bathroom. He'd had all night to come to terms with his job loss. He looked drained and sat down in his usual chair.
That was the surgery.
I didn't know they were open on Saturdays.
Only for about 2 hours in the morning, I think. They've got a cancellation for Dr. Forbes on Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, right.
I don't want to keep harping on about it, love, but really it's not the end of the world, you know. I've still got my job at Foxvale District Council during the day, and the bar work down at the Boar's Head at night, and I know John will give me more work if I need it.
I'm not having you working to support me.
Now don't start letting pride get in your way. You'll get some redundancy money, don't forget.
Such as it is, was Vaesen's word. What do you think he means by such as it is, eh?
I don't know.
It won't be that much. I've only been there 11 years.
But at least it'll be something, Alec. Be practical. Until something else comes along, we'll have to muddle along. There's nothing else we can do.
If anything comes along. He got up out of his chair again and hurried to the stairs.
Where are you going?
Bathroom!
What, again?
Greg had gone into Carthampton and collected Cleo from her foster home. Her wards were nice people who seemed to accept Greg as a true friend to Cleo. She was settled in with them by now and was beginning to take stock of her life. They both went into the town centre and found a small cafe, and he bought her coffee and they sat by the window. "I'm glad to see you're looking much happier now."
Mr. and Mrs. Collins are very nice. They were asking me about the baby last night.
Were they?
I don't know anything about him, really. The only time I saw him was in that farm shed.
I wish I'd been around that day, Cleo. You took a big risk, you know. The baby could have died, you could have died. Cleo shamefully bowed her head and looked into the remains of her cup of coffee.
I feel very guilty, Greg. I know it was silly, but I was worried about my dad getting arrested. But that happened anyway.
Well, it was inevitable. All that abuse he'd been putting you through made him a monster, and that's unforgivable. She had tears in her eyes. Her face was red.
He's still my dad, Greg, and I still love him. That will never change. And now they're going to put him in prison. And it's all my fault.
No, it isn't your fault, Cleo. You've got to put that right out of your head.
And that baby, it's his fault too.
It was nearly midnight, and in the darkness, a vehicle pulled up the lane in Hampton Woods. Whoever it was had driven as far into the wood as was possible, so as not to alert sleeping ACREBURY folk. The truck stopped in a clearing and a dumpy man jumped out, went to the back of the truck and took out a chainsaw. Choosing which tree was to be his next victim, the man started up the saw, cut a groove in one side of the trunk and began to cut through from the other side. The man looked all around to make sure that he was entirely alone, then carried on logging the large fallen bulk. Alec Harris buried his head in his hands. He sat on the side of the bed and shook. Carol woke up.
Alec? Alec, what's wrong, love?
Oh, that's it, Carol. I don't know.
Look, if you go on fretting about this redundancy, you'll make yourself ill.
That's just it. I am ill.
What I mean is, you'll make yourself worse.
You don't understand, Carol. I've just been to the bathroom again. There was blood. I don't know what on earth's wrong, but it is not gastroenteritis.
I'm calling the duty doctor. Blow your Tuesday appointment. He's coming out to see you now. This can't go on.
Carol got out of bed and put on her dressing gown. What's wrong with me, Carol? Why was there blood? What am I suffering from?